on a moment. These guys came from Woods of Delaware. Where was you from?
Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's
Listen, man, it's your boy B-Mac, man. Fire Nights Podcast.
Let me see him. Let me see him.
Yo. It's the Sunday hour, man, right before game time. This is the Fire Nights Experience pregame show. Welcome to your Sunday. With my esteemed best friend, namesake of the show.
Go long,
Fire. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. Y'all hear the nostalgic music, get you in that mood, man. Get you in that mood.
About that music, man. You know how I feel about that. That's that music. That music do something to my blood, man.
I got a couple more joints for you, bro. I got a couple more joints for you, man. You know,
pumps a little something into my blood, man, on this Sunday morning, man. Get ready for this football. You know what I mean? I love it, bro. I love it. So how you feeling today, man? It's a little. Well, where are we at? It's a little dreary out here, man. But you know.
Well, I'm feeling good. Like every Sunday, man, it's going to be a whole lot of things that you didn't see coming.
Right.
It's some teams that's back off a bye. I'm ready to see, get going again, and I want to see one more particular team. I just want to see. I'll get into that a little bit later, but there was a little bit of
I can dig it.
Yeah.
So, it's you mentioned buys, man. This bye week wreaking havoc on fantasy football, man. Since them bye weeks to kick them, man, it had to be like a little challenging, man. It's been a little challenging. You got to show off your GM skills in these fantasy leagues, man.
Oh yeah, well this is the time of the year, man. Like I always tell people, man, they get a couple of wins early in the season, man, or they got a couple of losses early in the season, man. It's a long season. And it's going to take more than, just the guys you picked on your team, just the guys you drafted for. You actually going to have to go into the waiver wire, the cuts and the, those type of things that actually fill out a roster. Or you actually got to have a plan for that before case, in some cases, but that's.
You got to be a true GM. You got to be a true GM / coach,
so
GM / coach, man. You got to really make the moves.
Yeah, so those type of things. I hope everybody out there got their leagues and filled in, and also I hope y'all got your homework in and get your tickets in before these 1 o'clock games go off as well.
Absolutely. So listen, while we waiting for B-Mac, man, shout out to the bro B-Mac, shout out to the bro Iceman, man, the ghetto baby. While we wait for B-Mac, man, we're gonna go through a couple of things here, man. First and foremost, I think on a Sunday, man, we got to go through the injury report. Just for those that do know, those that don't know, fantasy football, for those betting, yada, yada, yada. Let's go through this injury report, man, just to give a quick synopsis of who's available, things of that nature, and just things you might want to know before placing those bets. You know what I mean? So we got, for the Jets, you got James Robinson as a game time decision for Sunday's game against the Bills. It's going to be a game time decision. So if you're betting on the Jets or you have some money on that game, keep that in mind. A couple of other injuries. First and foremost, we'll just go down all of the teams, man. Arizona's running back James Conner, ribs, and safety Budda Baker both likely to play versus the Seahawks. But like I said, they'll test it during warmups, and it'll be a game time decision. But right now they're trending upwards. The Buffalo Bills linebacker Matt Milano with an oblique injury is likely to be out versus the Jets. Rookie Terrell Bernard is slated to start in Milano's place if they need it. So keep that in mind. Got a rookie linebacker possibly stepping in for the Buffalo Bills.
He is a key cog in the Buffalo defense, man. He's a sideline to sideline linebacker. He's out there tackling everybody, putting everybody on the ground. He's out there making a lot of plays. Let's hope he gets back, in the field of play as soon as he can. But I think they're going to have to go at their rookie, filling in for him. Good luck, Tyler Bernard.
Plan to make DeAndre Swift active versus the Packers. But of note, you got to look at that. They say plan to make, which means it could severely play with his playing time. So that could be a big factor in, some of your fantasy owners, as well as, your Vegas guys. You could affect that line in terms of his playing ability and his playing time. We got Las Vegas Raiders tight end Darren Waller. Game time decision, but from what I'm hearing, I think he's out. I think he's out today. It looks like they're trying to avoid him aggravating what looks to be a long-term hamstring injury. So they're being cautious about the situation. Miami Dolphins offensive tackle Teron Armstead and defensive end Jaelan Phillips are likely to play versus the Bears as long as the warm-ups go well. So that's two key players on both sides of the ball for the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
New England Patriots defensive back Jack Jones looks like he's going to play versus the Colts, but running back Damian Harris is trending towards being out. It's an illness as far as that's concerned.
So that's
Tennessee Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill ankle is doing everything he can to play versus the Chiefs. Now, it looks like it might be a game time decision, but I think, they're leaning more towards starting Malik Willis for his second week, which is pretty big for the rookie. If he's able to get, 2 consecutive starts, I think that's big for his progression as a future quarterback of that franchise.
I don't think that's a recipe for them beating the Kansas City Chiefs if Malik Willis is making his second NFL career start, if I ain't mistaken. I'm not sure if that's a recipe for beating the Kansas City Chiefs. But I also don't think Ryan Tannehill is a recipe for beating the Chiefs either. Mm-hmm. So good luck at your quarterback position today, Tennessee Titans. I also think King Henry, he's going to make his presence felt as well. So good luck.
Also, the Falcons are activating Cordero Patterson from injured reserve. It looks like he's going to play versus the Chargers, man. That's a big activation if he's able to play. And we'll talk about that game per se, but that's a big weapon if he's able to play for them.
He's a guy, man. He's the Swiss Army knife for them, man. Returns punts, returns kicks.
Yeah, it don't get no more Swissier than that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I want to say he's pretty much done everything on the field except hike the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it don't get more Swizzier than that. That guy, he's all over the place, man. He's literally, man, like where's Waldo? You know what I mean? Or where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, man? He's all over the place.
But he's been productive everywhere though, too. And you rarely see a player. To me, it's almost like you rarely see. It's almost in reverse. A player, is on the field. He's at a skill position. And then, maybe down the line he starts returning kicks, and then special teams. He's out of there. As opposed to Cordero Patterson, he was special teams, and it was like he just kept making plays. It was like, well, we got to get this guy on the field. More times more places they got him on the field, the more plays he made, and now he's very integral. Yeah, he's a very integral part of the offense. With all his versatility that he can bring to the Falcons, man, I'm glad to see him back. He's one of the guys that I like.
Absolutely. So listen, let's run down these standings, man, before we move further, just to give an updated perspective on the standings and how each division has played out so far. And are you surprised, not surprised? So let's go with the AFC East. We got the Buffalo Bills on first place at 6-1, New York Jets in second place at 5-3, Miami Dolphins at 5-3, New England Patriots at 4-4. Thoughts on that division?
The Jets are a little more surprising to me this year than I thought. 5-3, but that's really kind of rounding out like I thought it would be. I just thought the Jets having a little bit more success a little earlier than I thought, but that's pretty much rounding out into shape like I thought it would be.
I mean, it's impressive considering the history of that division. How normally, you normally would have one team over 500, and then the rest of the teams literally mediocre at best. What's interesting is that every team in this division is at 500 or better, which is a stark contrast to how that division has played out. And I'd say probably the last 15 years, we may want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big stark difference for that particular division. Moving on to the AFC North, we got the Baltimore Ravens at 5-3 in first place. We got the Bengals at 4-4. We got the Browns at 3-5, and the Pittsburgh Steelers at 2-6. Thoughts on that particular division?
I actually thought maybe Cincinnati. Cincinnati will probably be at the top of that division, but that division right there, they beat themselves up. They know themselves well. So it's not really a surprise to me that Baltimore is at the top of the division, but all the teams that are going to be in it, they're pretty much lumped right there together. Cleveland, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and it's going to be some AFC North games that's going to come, and it's going to be some blood and some sweat and some tears, before there's a champion crowned in the AFC North. But right now, all the usual suspects are right there. And Pittsburgh, I'm really thinking that
clearly rebuilding. I wouldn't say rebuilding, but clearly in a transitional stage of that particular franchise. We move on from long time starter and hero on the field, Ben Roethlisberger.
Right.
So and I think I'll say what I was probably guilty of in this division was underestimating that the Bengals would have that top tier schedule coming off of that Super Bowl berth. I think I kind of underestimated that. So I think that's more or less what the Bengals are looking at is that top tier schedule. You get that, second, third, fourth hardest schedule, or you get that schedule where they look and say, okay, well, you have, it may not always turn out that way, but you can't underestimate that. And then, later on down the line, we'll talk about another perfect example of why, it does mean a lot. You know what I mean? So the AFC South, we got the Tennessee Titans at 5-2. We got the Colts at 3-4. We got the Jags at 2-6 and the Houston Texans at 1-6. Thoughts on that division?
The only thoughts on that division is Tennessee Titans and hurry up and get to the playoffs. Nobody else around there is actually going to have enough to be in the actual contention race for a playoff spot. It's going to be whoever wins that division, who I predicted to be Tennessee, and everybody else, man, you guys will be fighting for what is proverbially the football lottery.
What is interesting of note is that is the only division where there is a tie. That's the only division where there is a tie, and two teams have ties in that division.
That's not by coincidence, because it was like on that day, neither one of those teams deserved to win. So both you guys get out of here with a tie, man, and
and be happy. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Moving on, man. Finally, for the AFC, we got the AFC West. We got the Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 5-2. We got the Chargers sitting at 4-3. We got the Broncos sitting at 3-5, and the Raiders sitting at 2-5. Thoughts on that division?
Well, this is probably my greatest failure on the season. I picked Las Vegas, and I actually think last week was the last week I'm going to put my full, let's go Raiders, you was my pick, fandom behind you. And I gotta start looking with my eyes and my head, and like, you got reverse polarity. Exactly. So you haven't given me it. You know what I gotta take.
Man, let's turn this ship. Let's get out on the hitchhike, man. Let's go another direction.
Yeah, but I actually thought, man, with Derek Carr, Devontae Adams coming in, I thought with Josh Jacobs, who's been playing pretty damn good, I thought the defense would have took another step further. I actually thought they were a legitimate contender. I actually thought that they was going to win the AFC West, and I actually thought that they was going to be the team that played the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship. Obviously, that pick is flying in my face right now.
Let me throw a
But
couple of things out there, though. Let me throw a couple of things out there. Some things that, I mean, of course, are part of the game, but, you know, they do affect. I mean, you got to mention them. They're part of the game. So they haven't had the services of Darren Waller, who's probably top 5 tight end in the league. They don't have their best possession receiver from a standpoint of a guy that's beating coverages for crucial first downs, and Hunter Renfrow. He's been inactive for long stretches. And we also got to remember that, you know, the coach Josh McDaniel. We have to kind of heap some his way too. You know, we got to throw some of that on him because for all intent and purposes,
Oh my God.
they've been in some games. They've at the beginning of the year, we know they've literally handed a couple of games away to teams saying, "Hey, you know, we don't really want this victory, man. You can have it. You know, we don't really need it." So they've been guilty of that themselves. They've got multiple gunshot wounds that are self-inflicted. So you know they got to check themselves into their own trauma unit because they've done some of this damage to themselves too. Moving on, bro. We got the National Football Conference, man. We'll start with the NFC East. We got the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-0. We got the Cowboys at 6-2. We got the Giants at 6-2. We got the Commanders at 4-4. Thoughts on that division?
hold on, give me 1 second.
Little pause, Little pause for the show. I love a Sunday morning, though, man. I truly love Sunday mornings, man, because Sunday mornings and football Sunday is more of an event than anything, man. I love a Sunday morning, man. The event of football is probably the biggest thing outside of, I would say, in my opinion, probably the NCAA tournament, man. You spend all week waiting to get to this day for the event of football. So they're special to me.
Well, it's very special, you know, when you come to football, because to me it seems like it's the perfect setup all week long. You know, it seems like football, the way it's set up, you have your game on Sunday, but you build up. You know, we're talking about Sunday on Monday. Tuesday you start, you know, okay, well, this is what's the aftermath from Sunday and Monday, and then Wednesday you start building up to, and Thursday you start seeing, oh, Friday, you a little bit more. Saturday, you right before the game. And then Sunday, you right here. It's almost like 17, 18 soap operas. It can be looked at, you know, every week. So football is unique in that. And when you're talking about the NFC East, I think that's probably the most unique division that I thought coming. I seen the Eagles being pretty good. I didn't actually
I think the Eagles were everyone's trendy pick if there was going, because first and foremost, you got to figure, if you're looking at history says that you rarely have a repeat winner in this division. So being as though the Cowboys won last year, the Eagles probably was everyone's pick to win this division because of that fact alone. People felt the Cowboys would be in the mix for all intent and purposes. The Giants, out of nowhere, I had no clue at all that this team would be this good. I mean, I knew that they had a shot to show some improvement, but not this good. Depending on who you talk to, the Commanders are where they are. Some felt they would be worse. Some felt they would be slight better. But all in all, if you're averaging that out, they're right where they are at 4-4. So, I mean, that division, of course, typically and historically have pretty much dominated football, because I mean that division has the most Super Bowls. I mean, that's always been a tight division over the last, let's say, 6 to 7 years, maybe even longer than that. It's been kind of an anomaly, but historically this division has always been tough. It's always been difficult to predict the winner. It's always been difficult, you know, predicting games in this division. So I think this division is back to their form. Whether they're back to dominance in the NFL, that remains to be seen. But it looks like it's on the way because all teams appear to be trending upwards.
Yes.
So on to the NFC North. We got the Minnesota Vikings sitting at 6-1. We got the Green Bay Packers at 3-5. We got the Bears at 3-5, and we got the Detroit Lions at 1-6. Thoughts on this division?
Minnesota Vikings are actually making me look like a legitimate football.
I went with you on that pick.
Yeah,
I went right with you on that pick.
That's what I was saying. You know, to make up for the Las Vegas pick, Minnesota's they're rounding in the form, man. They got some guys. It seems like health has been on their side this year. You know, Dalvin Cook has played the majority of the game.
That's big. Yeah, that's big.
That's huge. That's very
That's huge.
significant. You know, and a lot of other significant key pieces, Justin Jefferson, Alan Thielen, even though Thielen hasn't been producing as he has had in recent years, they still have been relatively more healthy than they've been.
Yeah, when you got those kind of weapons, somebody's gonna suffer. Somebody's production might tail off, and unfortunately, he's the guy whose production, for all intent and purposes, will tail off. So I mean, they'll take it at sitting at 6-1 with that lead that they have, and I think primarily why we picked them, and I remember the dialogue at the time, it was due to we both thought that the Packers would regress because they simply did not have enough quality football players around Aaron Rodgers. And with his age, there was some question around the room. I wasn't one of them. I thought that he could still perform at a high level, but unfortunately, it's not a high enough level to be able to carry these no names. He's past that point. He can't carry these no names. He's not in a position to be able to do that anymore. You don't have that ability. It's all, it's weird. It's almost like, even looking at LeBron James, still great individually, but not enough to carry a team. You know what I mean? And when you have a shaky or questionable supporting cast.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you can still be productive, but not be a lifter or carrier of ships. It's like, okay, we're not saying anything about what you can do, but what you can no longer do. Yeah. And these guys that you have around you, and to be fair, they may need a little bit more talent at some positions.
You can take the little off.
Right. I guess that's fair. But at the same time,
they need some players. They need some players, man.
At the same time,
they were busy along the trade deadline. It's just teams beat them out because they were inquiring about Darren Waller. They were inquiring about Chase Claypool. They were inquiring about some guys. So they were desperate in their need to get some talent on the outside. But hey, man, it is what it is, man. The Bears, I will say this: the Bears were very aggressive. It seems like they were aggressive in both ways. They were aggressive in a fire sale, but they were also aggressive in acquiring talent on the offensive side of the ball to help Justin Fields, who, in my opinion, has looked pretty good the past 2 to 3 weeks, to be honest. Well, 2 weeks. Let's say 2 weeks. He's looked pretty good the past 2 weeks. Enough to say, hey, there might be something there, renewed faith, so to speak.
Yeah, I can definitely say that he's jumped back into the, all right, well, we can definitely see this thing out category again.
Right.
What I would love for the Chicago football playing Bears to do in their lifetime is to embrace offense and come into just the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
You might be getting your wish, man, because like I said, they had a fire sale on the defensive side of the football, man. All of the players that they had over there, the ones that were worth any value, man, they got rid of them, and they trying to, bolster that offensive side of the football. So, I mean, apparently they have an eye for defensive talent. I think what they may be trying to step into the new millennium.
But that's what I'm saying. What I really need them to do now, man, is focus on the offensive line. Somebody's got to get blocked around here. This is the position that you can actually put hands on somebody. Please get somebody that can block somebody. So now we can see if Justin Fields can actually, sustain what he's been doing and actually get a fair look and evaluation at quarterback.
Do we need to talk about the Lions at all? I mean,
no, we don't.
Okay, moving on. NFC South, we got the Atlanta Falcons at 4-4. We got the Bucks at 3-5. We got the Saints at 3-5. We got the Carolina Panthers at 2-6. Thoughts on that division?
Not very many. If I'm giving anybody props, I'm giving it to Atlanta because I didn't see this from Atlanta. I actually seen where some things. If the ball bounces a different way, you might be 5-3 or 6-2. So you're actually exceeding expectations in my book. Where everybody else in the division is definitely underplaying expectation. The Bucks, the Saints, the Panthers. I didn't have very many expectations, and they're living right up to that. Slightly under the little expectation I had for them. But I'll give any props to for that division to the Falcons.
I get vertigo looking at this division because this division I don't know, man. I get lightheaded because this division, I can't put my finger on. I don't want to put my finger on it. Um, who the hell knows who's going to show up any given week in this particular division, man? It's a weird division. The one thing that they are consistent about is being inconsistent. It is the Jekyll and Hyde division of football, in my opinion. Like I said, I don't know. I get vertigo looking at this division. I'm gonna move on, man, because we got shit to do, bro. Last but not least, man, is the NFC West. We got the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 5-3. Got the San Francisco 49ers at 4-4. We got the Rams sitting at 3-4, and we got the Cardinals sitting at 3-5. Thoughts?
Well, I can say that I didn't see the Seattle Fighting Geno Smiths playing this good, but these are the type of things that happen. The games are played on paper. I didn't have them predicted to play this good, but they're here. They have to be dealt with.
You said, but they're here.
Yeah, but they're here. And that's what I'm saying. You can't take the wins off the board or any of that.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
You know, they're in the front. They're leading their division over the NFC. I mean, over the Super Bowl champ. Excuse me.
Right.
The LA Rams at what, 4-4? And I see them, you know, underachieving. They've been playing a lot of uninspiring football out in LA. The team that I'm probably most disappointed in is the Arizona Cardinals. And that was someone one of my favorites, probably if not my favorite football player to watch is Kyler Murray. I've been seeing a lot from the team up until the last couple of weeks when D Hopkins came back, you know, and it seems like that may have been more significant. You know, his loss may have been more significant to the whole team because it just seemed like it slotted everybody back in to place, and it seemed like that was important. But I'm very disappointed in their play up until now. But I got to give it up to the Fighting Genos up in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, week in and week out, and it may sound like a broken record because we have alluded to this before that, hey, man, Pete Carroll knew something. Pete Carroll knew something on two fronts, because it's one thing to get rid of your franchise quarterback and the face of the franchise, but there's another thing to insert a guy and him be successful and you be in contention and doing what the team's doing now. So big shout out to Pete Carroll, man, because he matter of fact, he be knowing.
Mm-hmm.
He be knowing, man. He be knowing. You know, he knew that he had something from a team standpoint that could sustain the loss of that guy. And what you're seeing from that team is a rough and rugged throwback, ground and pound game. They have lost a running back and they insert a rookie and they just keep coming with the same thing. They got playmakers on the outside and Lockett and Metcalf, and they have continued to show that they are a tough out every single week. Mm-hmm. Every week. Shout out to Pete Carroll.
I got a question for you about them. I mean, we all know the caliber of Russell Wilson, but do you think that was a case of addition by subtraction? You know, because it seems.
You know what our motto is around this place, man? There's an old saying that we like to allude to. It's tried and true. You know, we love to bring it up. It sounds corny. It's off base, but it rings true in so many cases, bro. Like the old Kenny Rogers song, sir. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. I mean, you can't put a premium on knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. In this case, he knew when to let go of Russell. Now, that's not to necessarily say that Russell's done, but sometimes your time might be done here.
Right.
Because at some point, you got to turn the page. I'm of the ilk where, in most cases, I'm willing to hang on to, my Hall of Fame guy, my face of the franchise, and ride it out because you just never know what kind of magic they can produce. I think they've earned that over time, especially when, you've gone to 2 Super Bowls, you know what I mean? And you're basically the best player in that franchise's history. I have more of a propensity to wait that thing out. but it shows a lot of courage, man, a lot of balls to be able to press the button, to hit the eject button, so to speak, and know when to say, you know what, let's turn the page. Let's turn the page is hard. Turn the page can get you fired.
Yes, it can.
Turn the page can get you. Well, let me not say turn the page. Turn the page at the wrong time can get you fired, especially if, you know, some results or some promise isn't shown after turning the page, because then it looks like you just turn the page just for turning the page sakes, and you don't have a plan, and you really were, the success really depended on that guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I shout out to Pete Carroll. It took a lot of balls, man, and it shows. I will say this, as of right now, I think that he's got a pass in Seattle that's going to last for a while, because that team is rallying around him. I think at this point, let's say if they make the playoffs, you may very well see him supplant Russell Wilson as the face of the franchise, because now it's more or less, okay, he's the constant now.
Right.
You know, not Richard Sherman, not Marshawn Lynch, not the Legion of Boom. Pete Carroll seems to be the one constant now. So, you know, if they make the playoffs, then he earns himself a spot in Seattle Seahawks lore, you know, in that regard. So I think not enough credit is being given to Pete Carroll in this particular situation.
Shout out to Pete Carroll. Shout out to Pete Carroll, man. You doing your thing out there, baby, man. I ain't mad at you, man. I guess you was the first person who knew the rest couldn't cook.
But listen, man, check on B Matt, see what's going on, man, before we get to these picks, man. Check on this guy, see what he's up to, man.
I don't know, man. I think his picks wasn't right last week, so I guess, you know, he MIA.
No, I think we all did a good job last week, man. I think we all did a fairly decent job last week. It was a couple duds, as everybody gonna have some duds. Everybody gonna have some duds in there, but you know, for the most part, I think everybody was well over 500 last week, if I'm not mistaken. It was a few duds, but I think everybody was over 500 from what I saw. We'll revisit it again on Tuesday, man, for on the big show. You know what I mean? We'll revisit it on Tuesday. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Any word from the people's favorite, man?
I'm not sure, but I got a little.
All right. Well, you know, if necessary, man, he'll pop in. So listen, man, let's get to these picks, man. Give us some music, man. Give us some music, man, to get into these picks. All right, so listen, the first game we got up. All right, so the first game we got here, we got the Chargers, man, versus Atlanta in Atlanta for the early slate of games. Where are you at with this one, bro?
I don't know, man. It's been hard for me.
I don't know.
That's what I don't know about this one, man. The Chargers have been a hard team to read. Every time I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, they kick me in the face. All the other times I'm saying I'm right, everybody, you know, is pointing out to where I'm wrong. I just don't know about the Chargers, man. They coming all the way across the country, early start. Atlanta's a little scrappier than you think. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. Give me the Falcons.
Falcons?
Yes, give me the Falcons.
What's the score?
I think it's going to be something where it's going to be
a thought. These teams suck defensively.
Yeah, I don't really think Atlanta's going to put up a whole bunch of points, but I think they're going to be able to keep the Chargers from scoring a whole bunch of points because a lot of their skill guys are down. So I think it's going to be something like 21-17.
21-17?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Atlanta, but I'm gonna go on a track meet though. I'm gonna go Atlanta 35-28 in the track meet. Yeah, I'm gonna go Atlanta 35. Yeah, 35-28 in the track meet, bro. Next matchup, we got Miami versus Chicago in Chicago. Who you got, bro? Miami versus Chicago in Chicago.
Give me Miami. I actually think that their team's rounded into shape. They just got a big acquisition in Bradley Chubb. They needed a little bit more pass rush. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill lead the league as a duo in receiving. I don't think
They're on
a
a
lot
torrid
of
piece right now.
Yeah,
Torrid piece.
I think we can put a lot of the Tua Tagovailoa talk to bed. He may not be what a lot of people want him to be, but he is a legitimate starting quarterback. And I have to give it to those guys. I just don't think Chicago has enough. But Justin Fields has jumped back into the okay, well, let's give this guy a chance conversations again. So I'm actually going Miami. Give me Miami 30-20. 30-20.
30-20?
30-20. 30-20.
30-20?
Yeah, Justin Fields, he's going to fight enough. I think he can get 20 out of these guys.
I'm going to go to upset pick here, and I'm going to go Chicago, right? Yeah, I'm going to go with the upset pick. I think Chase Claypool might play immediate dividends. Shout out to the boy Iceman. We know that's his squad. But I'm going to go with Chicago, and I'm going to go Chicago 24-21 on this one. 24-21. That's my shocker of the day.
That's interesting.
That's my shocker of the day. Next game on the docket, man. We got Carolina Panthers at the Cincinnati Bengals.
I actually think that Cincinnati, with Jamar Chase being down, I think the team will be a little bit more run-oriented, which I think they should be if they could be. I think today they have to be a little bit more run-oriented with Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, and get that run game going a little bit more. Pretty much, like they say, man, enforce their will on the Panthers. I think the Panthers are playing on like emotion and frustration and just overall upheaval, and it just has to stop at some point. So I'm going with Cincinnati pretty solidly 27-10.
27-10?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Cincinnati, and I'm gonna mirror your score slightly. I'm gonna go Cincinnati 28 to 7. I'm gonna go 28-7 Cincinnati. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of be in the same stratosphere, 28-7. Next game, we got Green Bay at Detroit. Divisional game, 1:00 game. Who you got?
This is a tough one, and I actually think this may be my upset alert.
Okay.
I think with the trade of TJ Hawkinson, I don't think that really was a trade saying they're giving up. I just think they were saying we probably couldn't really max out TJ Hawkinson right now. But I like Aquamenius St. Brown. They have another young guy.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Aquamenius. I may have messed that up, but Aquamenius.
I like the try though, bro. I like the effort.
Well, hey, you still got to suit up every week, So
I love the effort though, man. I applaud you for the effort though, man.
Well,
if you don't know what we mean, man, search up that guy's name and you'll understand why.
Yeah, it was a lot of syllables in there, and just. I actually think this may be a shootout game.
Okay.
I don't think that the Green Bay Packers right now are the better team. They may be the more talented team, but I don't think they're the better team because they just keep playing a style of football that just is not conducive to the the weapons they have right now and the weapons that they have on defense have not shown up and played at all. And one thing it seems like Detroit has done all year long is scored a lot of points on people.
Yeah.
So I'm actually,
except for maybe a game or two, but for the most part, that's their identity, offense.
yeah,
They have an offensive identity.
I think Swift's back today. He'll probably be back in a little bit more limited role, but Jamal Williams is a reputable back. And I don't really think their backup, tight end is going to make a whole bunch of noise, but I think he might even show up. So I want to go, you know what? I done talked myself into an upset pick myself because I was thinking about this for a while. Give me Detroit 28, Green Bay 14.
Okay.
14.
Fuck it, let's go across the board. I think Detroit due for one. Yeah, I think they're due for one. I'm going to say 28-24, Detroit. Let's live dangerous, man. Let's live dangerous.
We're both living dangerously.
Let's live in danger. Let's live dangerous on that, man. Next game on the docket, we got the Raiders versus the Jacksonville Jags in Jacksonville. Both teams only have 2 wins apiece. Where are we going with this one? I know you don't care, but where are we going?
I'm not saying I don't care. I'm just saying I can't. It
looked like you didn't care.
I can't. I mean, well, I guess it ain't just a look. You know what I'm saying? Both of these teams are very disappointing to me, and I think Las Vegas is probably the most disappointing team. From what So I'm looking at both these teams with side-eye disgust. Like, what is this dreck you're giving me?
It's funny. You know what's funny? That's probably going to turn out to be one of the more entertaining games of the day. Watch. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling.
When you think about it like that, you have some suspects that, you got the Raiders. That they're always down for, some shenanigans and things happening again.
Tomfoolery.
Jacksonville's at home.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jacksonville's at home. It seemed like some things have went down in Jacksonville a little funky, some days. It may be that kind of game. You know what? Yeah, give me Jacksonville at home. Something funky like 26 to 22.
26-22?
26,
all right.
22.
I will also take Jacksonville. I think Travis Etienne with the increased production and usage is a big thing with them. I think he runs wild today. I think Jacksonville has a great day. I think Jacksonville, I'm going to say 28 to 21 over the Raiders over the Raiders. Next game on the docket, we got Indianapolis versus New England. Thoughts on that one, bro?
Give Indianapolis
at New England.
Well, you know what? These two teams are taking football back a couple decades themselves. New England, Ramondre Stevenson, he's almost like a throwback to a 30-time guy rush.
30 carry guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They playing 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, Damian Harris is out today, so that looks like even more touches, rushes for Ramondre. Jonathan Taylor was the focal point of the offense, so they haven't really gotten off of the run game, but they just keep sticking people in. You got Deion Jackson. I can't remember the other gentleman, but they just traded one of my favorite guys out there in Nyheim Hines. So I'm not really looking at a whole lot of completed passes today between either of these teams. You know what I'm saying? I really can see 40 rush attempts again between both of these teams. And something crazy. Give me Indianapolis. Give me Indianapolis. Give me Indianapolis 19 to 15.
All right. I'm going to go New England. I'm going to go New England pretty handily. I just don't think Indianapolis is going to be able to. I mean, at the end of the day, New England's defense, they are still solid. It's opportunistic. I think that they'll get some opportunities as far as some turnovers. I'm going to go with New England I'm gonna go something like 24-13. Yeah, I just don't think Indianapolis will be any opposition whatsoever. It'll be a slobber knocker type of game. It'll be a defensive touchdown for New England, muff punt from Indianapolis with a short field. New England will capitalize off that. It's gonna be that sort of day. So I got New England 24-13.
Yeah,
We
that
got
would
Buffalo
shock me
versus
if
the
any of
Jets
those-
in MetLife Stadium in Jersey.
Well, I did not see this being a battle for the division's lead when you first look at these schedules in the preseason. But you got the Jets; they're here. You can't take the wins off the board. They're actually feeling good. They're gaining and have momentum. One thing I think that's hurting them is Zach Wilson, their quarterback. That guy may not be the guy at all, but I know he's not the guy for right now. And their team right now is probably one of the teams that aren't losing games. They're winning games. The other teams that are losing, they're not.
What do we call it though? You win it. You winning games the right way. You playing football the right way. And he just doesn't. Whereas here's a perfect example. You got both teams in New York, and they're both playing games the right way, right? But the common denominator is the quarterback, whereas one has not cost games, and the other one he has at this point. And you don't want to see that from your young quarterback that you think is the franchise. You know what I mean? Zach Wilson, if the Jets want to do anything, if they want to make a statement, today is the day, because right now you're sitting at 5-3, right? A loss here puts you at 5-4. Where you're still surprising, but then what happens is a little doubt starts to creep in that locker room a little bit, because the game last week was a winnable game. And when you have winnable games, you want to quote unquote win them.
Right.
Zach Wilson did not do the things. He did multiple things to lose that game, to put that team in a tough position. You want to be able to put yourself in a position where you capitalize off the other team's mistake. You don't want to one-up them and, okay, you make a mistake, I make a mistake. You make a mistake, I make. You don't want to play that kind of football when you're dealing with Buffalo sitting there at 6-1. As far as picks, I'm gonna be a little bold here. I'm gonna go New York Jets. New York Jets, they need to make a statement here. They have to make a statement, because if you do not, I see the Jets going into a tailspin on a promising season. This is a big morale game. You're at home. You got Buffalo coming in. Shake off last week's loss and make a statement here. What you got?
Yeah. I actually got Buffalo.
Buffalo?
I
What's
think
your score?
31-24.
31-24.
Yeah.
I got the Jets. I'm gonna go with the Jets here. And I'm gonna go. I don't think they'll be able to stop Buffalo. Sauce is gonna do his job. He'll hold Stephon Diggs to a modest day. But I think Buffalo goes in the other direction, and I think they get production. But I think the Jets rebound off of last week, and I think they rise to the occasion, to the tune reverse of what you said, 31-24. Yeah, I think they rise to the occasion today. I'm gonna be bold with that pick. Next game we got here, we got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to FedEx Field to play the Washington Commanders. Who you got?
The Washington Commanders, man. I know those are your guys, man, and the Commandos. I happen to have an affinity for a couple of guys on your team, man. Taylor Heineke is one of them, man. I don't know what it is. He's a guy of mine. I like him. I like Terry McLaurin. I like that duo's kinship and synergy. They have a connection, those two guys, Heineke to McLaurin. Y'all might got to trademark that or something out in DC, man, because I actually think Taylor Heineke is better for your team than a lot of the guys you've had around lately. But with that being said, I actually think that you guys don't get a win today.
What's the score?
I think it's a little bit closer than people think, man. I do, because it's something about Taylor Heineke, man. I think he's good for your team. Give me 2017.
20 to 17.
Yeah,
I'm
2017.
also go Minnesota, man. I'm gonna go against my heart here.
Ooh.
A couple of things tell me. One reason why I want to go against Minnesota is that Kirk Cousins is coming back in his first game in DC since he's become a Viking. I think that he's prone to shaky play, and this could be a game considering the fact that the defense for the Commanders are playing well. They're trending upwards, which is a reason why they've been in so many games recently. But on the other hand, I think that Minnesota, with the addition of TJ Hawkinson, he's active today. Like we spoke of earlier, their relative health, they've got all their weapons. They're firing on all cylinders. I don't think the Commanders can put up enough points to stay with the Vikings. That's my only problem. It's too topsy-turvy in terms of what it can be. Heineke gives you a shot, but with him giving you a shot, that means you have to depend on his arm. And that's not necessarily a recipe for success. He's a 500 guy. Win some, lose some. He's won his two, the past 2 weeks. I think this is one that he loses. I think Minnesota, not exactly high scoring, but Minnesota scores some points. I think they capitalize off of, a Heineke turnover from the standpoint of a fumble or interception. I got the Minnesota Vikings 24-17 in this game. Next game on the docket, and this kind of starts the afternoon slate. We got Seattle, the Fighting Genos, versus the Arizona Cardinals. Who you got, bro?
The Fighting Genos, I want to say it's up in Seattle, the 12th man. They've been getting their thing off up in Seattle. Geno has been really, really, really.
It's in Arizona. This game is in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
It's in Arizona. Does that change your mind a bit?
Nah, it doesn't change my mind at all.
Doesn't change your mind. Okay.
Geno's been up there playing ball and getting them guys, playing a little bit above what a lot of people have been expecting them to play. They're in the
expectation.
Desert.
Expectation.
That's
but to keep it 100, they may be playing above expectations, but I don't necessarily know if they're playing above themselves.
True. They are who they are. They may. Yeah. We may not have expected them.
They look eerily similar to any other year that they've been, it's just that we would like to attribute this to, oh man, this is unexpected because, man, they don't have Russell Wilson. Well,
right.
A lot of their other players remain. You got Tyler Lockett, who's probably one of the most underrated receiver in the league. You got DK Metcalf, a freak of nature. They got that offensive line who's just blowing guys off the football. You're giving your quarterback, regardless of who it is, a lot to work with there.
Yeah. And with those guys and going into the desert, man, I don't think that they get the job done today out in the desert. I actually think the Arizona Cardinals pulled this thing out with D-Hop coming and resetting everybody back out there. I think that was a more stabilizing and a more significant factor that was missing that they needed. And I think that puts them over the top today in a tough divisional matchup. I mean, it's going to be grits and guts. I want to see my little guy running around making plays and throwing the ball to the man with the biggest hands in football. And I
love the Sandlot football, man. I don't care what nobody say. I love it.
And I actually think they pull it. I think this may be a barn burner. This may be the barn burner of the barn burner day. Give me Arizona 41, Seattle 35. I think this might be a barn burner.
Okay. I'm going to go with the high scoring affair too. Not that high, but we got some touchdowns in this game. I'm going to go with Arizona. 31-28. Arizona 31-28 in that game. We got the next game. We got the LA Rams traveling to Tampa Bay. Both teams sorely need this game. I mean, if you're talking about a do or die game, both teams need this game bad. Tampa Bay literally could be on, a 4-game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken.
Heavens.
Yeah, that just sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That just sounds weird. So just for perspective, Tampa Bay, if they lose this game, will have lost 4 straight games. So they need this. They really, really, really need this. Adversely, the Rams can afford an L because nobody's running away with that defense, that division, unless the Seahawks win. Because you've got the Seahawks at 5-3, San Francisco at 4-4. They're sitting at 3-4. But you have an opportunity here, so it's a lot at stake for both the Rams and the Buccaneers. Who you got?
Well, the Super Bowl champs have been letting me down. I can't say let me down all season, but they've been playing down to expectation all season. Injuries have been getting them. Cooper Kupp, he's not playing.
Let's never get a tough schedule, though. You win the Super Bowl, you don't have the benefit of a soft schedule, so that's a factor as well.
Hey, you
lose OBJ. A lot of things going on there.
You've lost some pieces, man. You're not looking like the team that you had last year. So got paid. Yeah, there's not a lot of teams out there that scare what you got. With that being said, I'm not sure if Tampa Bay is the team that can take advantage of it, but I do think they're the team that will take advantage of it today. Okay. I think today they get the dub. I think they're a little bit healthier than what people think. I think they may have gotten right, so to speak. I think they may have righted the ship. It hasn't been too much going on. We've just been practicing and, and these type of things, play themselves out. With them being at home, Tom Brady, you got all your weapons. I think they pull it out in a tough battle. Give me something 21-20.
21-20?
Yeah, 21.
I think Tampa Bay gets right today. Tampa Bay gets right today to the tune of 23-17. I think Tampa Bay gets right. Tom rights the ship today. And, if they have any hope of turning this particular season around, it starts today. They got an opportunity at home. They got to get right today. Tennessee versus Kansas City in Kansas City. That is the Sunday night game. That is the primetime tilt.
I'm glad to see Derrick Henry back running the ball. I have an affinity for running backs who really pound the ball. He's one of the last of those pound the ball, giving the ball out, 20-some odd 30 times.
Quote unquote
get the job. Yeah, work, the bell cow as they like to name him. I really love to see that. And when it comes to Tennessee, it's like it's him and almost nobody else. But the Batman on that team is actually Ryan Tannehill, who I don't think is going to be able to play today. And if he does, he's going to be severely compromised. And I don't think that's going to be enough to actually overtake Kansas City's team. They just got another new toy in Kadarius Toney. I think he's playing today. For some reason, he was hurt all season long, but when you get the good news, you trade to Kansas City, you get healthy real quick.
Take the secret stuff.
Yeah, he's like, oh, man, Kansas City, they got that good juice. I rubbed it on my knees, and I'm back. I'm back. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I guess when Patrick Mahomes is throwing you the ball instead of, Daniel Jones, you might get healthy real fast. But,
get healthy real quick.
But I actually got Kansas City winning pretty handily.
Okay.
But I do see Derrick Henry being the bulk, if not the all of the offense, if there's no Tannehill. So give me 30-14 Kansas City. But I actually think Henry goes for at least $125.
I got KC in a romp here. I got KC 38-17. And that 17 comes late, late scores. I think that, I think before it's all said and done, it's probably 38 to maybe 10 late in the fourth quarter. And, Tennessee gets a late touchdown. But I think this would be a pretty easy game for KC. And last on the docket, we got the Monday night tilt. We got Baltimore at 5-3 traveling to New Orleans against the New Orleans Saints at 3-5.
The Saints, they've been very underwhelming this year. They've had some health issues. Alvin Kamara, they're now bringing back up. He may have to face some type of, so that with that swirling around the team, I think I just seen Marshawn Lattimore's not playing. I really think the Baltimore Ravens made a very, 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 very good pickup in Roquan Smith. I think that shores up that defense and
The
helps
first
that
in line at the
back.
fire sale.
Yeah, you know, hey, can we get one? Can we get an all-pro tackling machine? Thank you. And I think that's probably just what the defense needed. I don't think it was necessarily their back end killing them. I think it was their back end was exposed with
They
less
got some tackling
exposure.
issues pretty much. A lot this year as well. Man, I did notice that they got some tackling issues.
Yeah, and I think like the number one tackler in the league helps you out with that tremendously. You know,
You secure some of those tackles, I think you might be okay. Their young safeties and I mean their young corners have kind of rounded into shape a bit. They're not a strength for the team, but it's not as big a glaring weakness as it was early, and some of the reason why they gave up some of those big leads. So who do you got? What's the score?
I got Baltimore, man. I got Baltimore pretty handily. Actually, I think this might be a laugher. Give me something like 37-10.
We'll go the other way, man. I think New Orleans
37-9.
answers the bell. I think New Orleans comes in and they play football, man. And I think it comes down to the wire, probably a field goal or something of that nature. I'm going to go 28-27, man, New Orleans. Let's live a little dangerous on that one, too. I think they pull this off and win that, man, by a hair. Yeah, I think by a hair.
I guess you YOLO.
I think that's a hair, bro.
Dangerously.
Yeah, I think that's a dangerous pick. But hey, I'm not here to take it easy, man. I could go chalk across the board, but let's live dangerous, man. Let's do some things. Let's see what it's hitting for. I think we got our full slate here, man. We got our pick sim right here, man. We got one more hour till game time. Everybody get your fantasy teams right. This is the pivotal point. This is the kind of the midway point. It's weird because it's the midway point, but it's not the midway point, but it is, quote unquote. It's almost like you got two games, like this week and next week it's kind of like the midway point almost, or is it this week and last week? It's weird now because of the schedule's uneven. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. That's one thing, man. I don't know if I like the unevenness of the schedule. Look, give me 14, 16, 18. The 17 is kind of just weird to me. It's just
weird.
It's weird.
Maybe it's my OCD kicking in. I don't know.
Now, I don't like it either. I'm not a fan of the uneven schedule. I'm not a fan of that. Give me 8 home games, 8 away games, or give me 9 or whatever it is. But I noticed, with that off game, you get to have your 8 home games and a game over the pond over in, in England, something like that. And you still get the revenue. Your team still get, 8 home game revenues as well as over the pond, which probably would help your bottom line as opposed to having a 9th home game in Jacksonville where nobody shows up.
Who goes crazy this week, bro? Give me one guy who goes crazy this week.
I actually think this guy has the potential to go crazy. I want to see him go crazy. You're my favorite guy. I think it's going to be a shootout. Come on, Kyler Murray. I want you to have 4 touchdowns. I see him doing this. 4 touchdowns, skirt around. D-Hop probably have 2 of them. Yeah, I know I picked him to win.
I'm gonna go to quarterback too, man, but a young one, man. I think Justin Fields has a breakout day today. I think he has a breakout day today at home. I think he gives all kind of havoc to that Miami defense. I think he has a big day. I'm gonna go 2 touchdowns in the air. I'm gonna go 1 on the ground, and I think he has a big day, man. I don't think he throws any interceptions. I just think he has a big day, a day befitting of a guy who was your first round pick and is your franchise guy. So listen, man, that's another week, man, of the Fire and Ice Experience pregame show. Everybody enjoy your Sunday. Make sure you got your snacks, your nachos, your chicken. You got your slippers, man. You got your gear on. You ready? Hopefully you're on the big screen. You got your ticker on the bottom, and you can see all your scores, man, and just enjoy the day. Any thoughts, bro, before we close it out?
Well, man, I ain't want us to leave before I heard some of this. Yeah. hogs running around. You get a seal here, and you get a seal here, and you get an alley and run. Oh my God. This is the music right there. He said, we're going to matriculate the ball down the field. This is the time to get hype about your games, your fantasy games, your real life games. You get your tickets in. You ain't got that much longer. Get up like bro said, get your snacks in.
What's the go-to snack, bro? What's your Sunday must-have, man?
I always gotta have some type of. I'm a nacho guy, you know what I'm saying? Like chips or nachos, I'm dipping in something.
Yeah, I'm a chip and dip guy. Give me some kind of chip and dip. You know what I mean? Whether it be some kind of bean dip or buffalo chicken dip, some kind of queso dip. Just give me some dipping chips, man. Give me some. Hey, listen, this is another thing. I've been looking for these chips too, man. They are the Tostitos Big Dippers. You know the scoops. Scoops too flimsy, man. They can't hold the majority of the days. Big hearty dips. They break up, and then towards the end of the bag, you almost want to kind of like just pour the chips in the dip and get a spoon and eat it. I don't want that. I'm trying to find these hearty dippers, man, and I've seen them. They look to be a real sturdy chip. It looks to be like 3 times the sturdiness of the regular Tostitos dip. Now the Tostitos dips, they look like nice little bowls, but that is a flimsy chip, man. I do not advocate for the Tostitos dips. That is a flimsy chip unless you are eating the most flimsiest dip known to man. Other than that, you get about 25 good chips. After that, man, the rest is gristle.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate of those, man. I'm searching for. So if anybody, man, got any hearty dippers, man, or you see them in the store, let me know which store you can get them at. I'm there, man, Johnny on the spot, because I want them chips, man. They look real sturdy. I saw them joints on the interweb, and I saw a guy eating this dip, man, and they look so sturdy, man, and able to hold up to the dip. So I'm looking for these hearty dippers, man. I think they're Tostitos or Fritos, but they're called hearty dippers. If anybody sees them, let me know where Coach can get them joints, man, because I need them in my life for Sundays.
I'm a dip guy myself. Queso, maybe a little, something sprinkled in some chicken, or I like ground beef. But we can do a major nacho. But I can even just do a chip and a dip. I'm all good with that all day long. I've been fucking with
the I done concocted a John, man, and I saw off the interweb, man, it's a cheeseburger dip, but of course I use the turkey meat. The cheeseburger dip, bro. I'll be fucking with the cheeseburger dip now, man. I go hard on that, man. Put that thing in a crock pot, man. Let that thing marinate. I got cheeseburgers all day. All day.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. You preaching to the choir. You start talking about cheeseburgers all day.
The first course I go strictly dip mode, right? Mm-hmm. Then during the second games, I put the chips out and then pour the dip on the chips and go nacho style.
Exactly.
I'm getting the best of both worlds, bro.
Exactly. See,
I'm getting the best of both worlds.
That's how you gotta play the food, man.
Yeah, I'm a dip and chip guy, man. Let us know what you are, man. Is it the hoagie tray? Is it the hoagie platter? Is the hoagie? Because some people partial to the hoagie platter. You know what I'm saying?
I'm never. You know me. I'm never opposed to a good hoagie platter, man.
Is it pizza? Is it the pollo, the chickens? Is it the wings? Is it the wings that the major staple? I don't know. It's a lot of Sunday food. That's why Sunday, man, the event of Sunday NFL football, man, is bigger than anything else, man, because it's a weekly thing and you wait all week for it, man, and there's so much into it, man. So yeah. I think I'll have me some dip in about another hour or so, man. I'm gonna get my dip ready.
What you say? I think I might get me some dip ready myself. Get ready for these games, get my tickets all laid out, make sure my fantasy lineups is filled in with all my players I need in there, man.
Who you got this week? Who you got this week on the fan for the Fire Nights fantasy?
I just took a look at it too, man, because I need all these wins bad.
I think I got the brother Hanif this week.
I need all these ones bad, man. It might get late early around.
Hey, man, I need Jamar Chase back, man. I definitely need Jamar Chase back. I mean, bro, Come on, man. Can you pull a miraculous recovery? I need that man back.
Yeah, man. Who I got this week? I have.
Bro, what's your email address? I just thought about that.
You know Bomar. Hey, Yahoo.
Bomar status?
Yeah.
Yahoo email?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yahoo.
Gmail, Yahoo?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
I'm just sending these pics to you, bro.
I got
Yahoo,
money bags.
yeah, I'm just sending
I
these
got
pics to
money
you.
bags Bears this week.
Got money bags
I,
Bears? Okay.
I need to take him down. I need to take Bags down, man.
It's funny, man. We ain't heard too much from Bags all year. You know, he's normally a premium shit talker. He ain't had much to say this year.
Yeah. He just
Yeah, we
quiet.
ain't had too much to say this year, but it's okay. It's all right.
I need all these dubs, man. I ain't looking right in the Fire and Ice thing. I ain't looking right, man.
That's all good, man. You know,
it's all good, man.
It's all good. But yo, listen, man, check us out, man, on that YouTube. Subscribe, man. Check us out on, of course, on Facebook, man, and also on Twitter. Check out the Fire and Ice page on TikTok. A little content on there as well, man. Show some support, subscribe, get them views up for us, man. We love y'all. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you're fucking with us, bro. Take us out of here, Fresh. We out.
Peace.
We live at the Fire and Ice podcast, man, and there's certain moments that you have when you do these things, and I think it's more the moment.
These guys came from Woods of Delaware. Where are you from?
Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's fighting right now? Who's
Listen, man, it's your boy, D-Mac.